Chapter 21. You know, it's real nice to just sit here for a second, smell the air, that deep, earthy crispness of autumn. The kind that feels like it belongs to some other world, some other time. A world where people still rake leaves and drink hot cider instead of running for their lives. The lake's like glass, barely a ripple. Ducks floating along, no damn clue the world's gone to shit. A breeze kicks up, shakes the trees, sends a swirl of gold and red dancing through the air like a living oil painting. Hell, I can even hear kids laughing in the distance. Or maybe I'm imagining that part. Either way, it's peaceful. It's nice. And, well, then there's the guy's intestines strung up in that tree over there. Almost missed him, what with the way they blend so damn well with the autumn reds. Somebody really took their time with that, too. Looped him over the branches, all careful-like, real deliberate. The ribs are hanging open like wind chimes, little flecks of meat still clinging on. Almost artful, if you ignore the whole human remains part. But hey, contrast is what makes life interesting, right? Anyway, break's over. I pushed myself up from the rock I'd been sitting on, giving the autumn masterpiece one last glance before moving on. Mac and Ace are already waiting a few yards ahead, backs to me, scanning the trees for any signs of movement. Mac tilts his head when I approach. Nice little moment of reflection? Something like that. I roll my shoulders. We moving or setting up a picnic? Ace gestures down the long stretch of Armistead Avenue, the morning light filtering through the trees, casting long gold streaks over the cracked asphalt. It's eerily empty. That alone puts me on edge. Looks clear, Ace says, but his tone doesn't match the words. Too clear. I nod. Yep, I don't like it. Let's move. We tighten formation, staying close to the shoulder of the road, weapons in hand, but low. No unnecessary noise, no dumbass mistakes. The Coliseum Shopping Center is still a ways off, and we've got a lot of open space before we hit the commercial strip. Too much space. The morning light makes everything feel almost normal. The wind still rustles through the trees. The problem with that is, normal doesn't exist anymore. Mac mutters, "If something's coming, we won't hear it first." Ace side-eyes him. You really gonna say shit like that out loud? I smirk, adjusting my grip on my bat. Jinxing our luck. Classic rookie mistake. We keep moving. We're about a half mile up Armistead when we see a fresh corpse. Not infected, a person. A woman, mid-30s maybe, slumped against a rusted-out sedan, a bloody wound in her gut. Still fresh. The blood's not fully dried, meaning she hasn't been here long. Ace kneels, checking her pulse even though we all know better. Shakes his head. She's not ripped apart, Mac points out, eyes scanning the tree line. Somebody killed her. Ace frowns, looking around. Then they're probably watching us right now. I step back, scanning the scene. Bullet hole in the door behind her. Gunshot went clean through. No shell casings, though. That meant someone took the time to pick them up. Execution, I mutter. Somebody didn't want her turning. Or they wanted whatever she had. Mac's jaw tightens. We're not alone out here. We already knew that. But seeing it up close, it makes the air feel heavier. Ace exhales. We moving? Yeah. Keep sharp. Eyes up. After another mile, the trees start thinning out, the road widening. Up ahead, the commercial sprawl of Mercury Boulevard starts creeping into view. Signs for gas stations, fast food joints, and strip malls loom in the distance, faded by time and sun. Once a main artery of the city, now a graveyard. I take a breath, scanning the expanse ahead. Wide open spaces, no cover, a death trap waiting to happen. Stay close, keep quiet. We do this smart. We step off the last stretch of Armistead, heading toward the ruins of civilization. And unbeknownst to us, something watches us from the rooftops. Chapter 22. Up ahead, we spot a lady near the crumbling shell of an old pharmacy, slumped against the brick wall, clutching her side. Blood smears her hand. Fresh wound. Mac tenses beside me. Ace narrows his eyes. We stopping for this? We're not leaving someone to bleed out. I move forward, keeping my bat low. Bad idea or not, some things don't change. She looks up as I kneel beside her. Mid-20s, ragged clothes, dirt-streaked face, terrified. Easy, we got you. What happened? She gasps, fingers trembling. They jumped me, took my stuff. Please, I need help. Mac crouches on her other side. Ace stays back, scanning the area. Then his voice cuts sharp. Where's the wound? Silence. My stomach drops. I look down. No blood, no tear in her shirt. She swings a knife at me. Then the alley erupts. 5 of them rushing in fast, weapons swinging. Mac barely dodges a wild katana swing, rolling aside as the blade slash sparks off the pavement. Ace steps back just as a rusted chain with a padlock attached whips past his face, narrowly missing. The bastard swinging it grins wide, missing teeth. Cute, Ace mutters, before bringing his bat straight into the guy's stomach. The kid wheezes, stumbling, but doesn't go down. I barely get my bat up in time to block an incoming club, the impact rattling up my arms. Mac disarms his attacker with a brutal leg sweep, sending the katana skidding across the ground. Another kid comes at me with a fucking set of nunchucks. Nunchucks. I brace, ready for whatever dumbassery is about to happen. He swings, misses, swings again, cracks himself in the face. His eyes go glassy. He stumbles, collapses. Well, that was easy. Ace takes a wild swing to the shoulder, curses, and retaliates with a brutal knee to the gut. The attacker drops, coughing blood. Mac dodges another swing from the padlock chain, grabs the guy's wrist mid-swing, and slams his elbow straight down onto it. Bone cracks. The kid howls, dropping to his knees. Another one rushes me, a makeshift spear in hand. Too slow. I sidestep and bring my bat full force into his ribs. He crumples, gasping. The katana-wielding bastard is back on his feet, wild-eyed, blade gleaming in the dim light. He lunges at Mac. I intercept, driving my bat into his gut. He folds, wheezing, but still holding onto the damn sword. Persistent little shit. Ace, panting, glances at me. How many left? I take a quick count. 3 standing, 3 on the ground. Mac steps over the unconscious nunchuck kid, shaking his head. That one took himself out. The remaining 3 back up, realizing they bit off more than they could chew. I lower my bat slightly. Pick up your friends. Get the hell out of here. They hesitate. The katana kid grips his sword tighter. Mac steps forward, voice low, dangerous. You swing that thing at me again, and I'm shoving it up your ass like a popsicle handle, kid. That does the trick. They scramble to grab their unconscious buddies. The nunchuck kid groans as they hoist him up. I watch them go. Langley's a safe zone. If you're done playing samurai, try heading that way. It's a rough trip, but better than ending up like Mr. Intestines over a tree guy down the road. They don't answer, just vanish into the ruins. Mac exhales. Shit. Ace rubs his shoulder. Damn kids these days. I roll my shoulders, wincing. You ever think we're getting too old for this shit? Mac laughs. No, but I do think I'm still in that katana if I ever see him again. We keep moving. Chapter 23. We move with the sun at our backs, long shadows stretching across the cracked asphalt. The world is still quiet, too quiet, like it's waiting for us to slip up. Every step is measured, every breath is controlled. Mac adjusts his grip on his bat. Feels different. Ace smirks. Everything feels different when you almost get your head taken off by a katana-wielding teenager. I scan ahead, eyes sweeping across the boulevard. Too many places for something to be watching. Too many corners we can't see past. Then, I spot something. The first sign that we're not alone. A length of thin wire stretched across the road, knee-high. I grab Mac's arm before he walks straight into it. "It's a trap," I say, using my best Admiral Akbar voice. He follows my gaze, sees the wire, then the small stack of rusted metal pipes balanced against the wall, rigged to drop if someone trips it. Ace exhales. Amateurs. I crouch, following the wire's path. Crude setup. A kid could have made it. But it tells me one thing. We're not the first ones through here. Mac carefully steps over it. Think they're still around? Probably. The next few blocks are riddled with signs of past movement. Looted cars, spent shell casings, a broken baseball bat near a dried pool of blood. But no bodies. Whoever fought here either got out or got dragged off. A distant, deep sound stops us in our tracks. Wet, gurgling. We freeze. Listen. Another sound. Something shifting. Sluggish. Bloated. Ace tightens his grip on his bat. What the hell is that? As if in response, it lumbers from an alleyway, grotesquely swollen. Its skin stretched tight over bulging masses beneath. Veins blackened, flesh split in places, leaking something thick and dark. It staggers forward, blind. But apparently it can hear. Shit, Mac hisses. That's new. The thing stops, sniffs the air. Ace whispers, "We taking it?" I shake my head. Something's wrong. I can feel it in my bones. Mac grips his bat tighter. It's blocking the road. We take a slow step forward. The thing jerks, head twitching toward us. Then, without warning, it convulses. The bulging mass under its ribs bursts open, spraying the pavement with a sickening hiss. A cloud of spores erupts into the air. Move! We bolt, scrambling back, covering our mouths. The spores drift, thick, hanging in the air like death. Ace's eyes are wide. Holy shit! Mac curses. That's a fucking problem. The thing shudders, collapses into itself, melting into the pavement. I swallow hard. We need to get out of here. Hold your breath. We sprint until the air is clear, lungs burning. No one inhaled it, we're sure. The gas station ahead looks intact, windows unbroken. Could be supplies inside. Ace wipes his forehead. We checking it? Mac nods. We need water. We move in formation, slipping through the door. The inside is dark, shelves half looted. Something smells off. We spread out. I head toward the refrigerators. Mac checks behind the counter. Then we hear something nightmarish. A wet breath from inside the walls. I shine my flashlight. The back wall isn't just a wall, it's pulsing. A mass of thick fungal growths fused into the architecture. Veins snake across the floor, stretching toward the ceiling. And embedded within, bodies. At least a dozen. Sleeping ragers. Their faces barely visible. Eyes sealed shut beneath layers of fungal rot. My blood turns to ice. If they wake up, we are fucked. Mac whispers, "Back out, slowly." Ace nods, eyes locked on the twitching mass. We step back 1 foot at a time. The floor creaks beneath our feet, and one of the bodies shudder. I kill the flashlight. The entire wall heaves, like lungs taking a breath. We freeze. For a second, the world is still. Then, one of them opens its eyes, and it starts screaming. We sprint. The nest erupts behind us, bodies ripping free from the fungal mass, shrieking, convulsing. Ace throws the door open. Mac shoves past. I dive through just as a rager lunges, its claws swiping inches from my face. We don't stop running, not until the gas station is just another corpse behind us. I double over, panting. That's some fucking nightmare fuel, man. Straightening up, I glance ahead. The road stretches forward. Next stop, the overpass. And it doesn't look good. Chapter 24. The wind is picking up. Not good. It means the spores from that thing back in the road could still be drifting. We move fast, but not too fast. Stealth first. Always stealth first. Ahead, the overpass looms, stretching across the highway like a broken spine of civilization. I can already see the wreckage. A jackknifed 18-wheeler, a pileup of rusted-out cars, a tangle of debris from past riots. This used to be a lifeline for the city, packed bumper to bumper with commuters. Now, a bottleneck of death. Mac scans ahead, shaking his head. You really think crossing this is a good idea? Got a better one? I ask, tightening my grip on the bat. Unless you feel like going 10 miles out of the way through God knows what, this is our fastest shot. We move in, sticking low, weaving through the rusting cars. Every step is slow. Every sound is a risk. Mac mutters, "Bodies." I see them too. Some are old, dried-out husks, victims from the early days. But others? Fresh. Too fresh. Ripped open, ribs exposed, meat still clinging to the bone. Halfway across, the first sound hits us. A low, distant wail. Not a scream. Something else. Something haunting, moaning, like a sad reverie. We pick up the pace, weaving between wreckage. The highway below is a mess of overturned cars, bodies, patches of fungal growth. No movement, though. Not yet. That is, not until we see a figure standing on the edge of the bridge, still as a statue. We freeze. Ace whispers, "What the fuck is that?" It stands there, spine bent at an awkward angle, arms limp at its sides. Not moving, not breathing. Mac swallows. Is it dead? I shake my head. Not sure. Then it turns its head. Not the body, just the head. Eyes locked on us. And then it moves with impossible speed. We barely have time to react. Ace fires first. A single shot. The bullet punches through its chest. It doesn't stop. Mac swings, the bat connecting with its skull in a sickening crunch. It stumbles as something screeches from the wreckage. More of them, from beneath the cars, from inside the twisted metal. Crawling, climbing, too many. Run! We sprint. They come from everywhere. Stage 2s slamming into cars, tearing through metal like paper. We're close. The far end of the bridge is right there. Then, like a dying god, the bridge groans. A crack splinters through the concrete beneath us. A chunk of pavement collapses, sending a mass of cars tumbling onto the highway below. The entire structure shudders beneath our feet. Ace is the first to make it, leaping across a gap in the road. Mac follows. I'm the last one across. A stage 2 lunges at me, claws raking my vest. I swing wild and hard, the bat cracking into its skull. It snarls, stumbles back as the bridge gives. The entire section beneath me drops. I'm falling. Everything is weightless. Sound vanishes. The wind rushes past my ears. The world flips. I hit metal hard. The SUV beneath me crumples, breaking my fall. Pain explodes through my ribs. Above me, the bridge is still collapsing. Mac yells my name. I try to move. Something shifts behind me. One of them is here. A Stage 2 pulls itself out of the wreckage, eyes locked onto me. Its mouth splits nightmarishly wide, jagged teeth stretching beyond what should be possible. I scramble back, bat lost in the fall. No weapons, no time. It pounces. A gunshot rips through its skull. It collapses, twitches, goes still. Ace stands above me, smoking pistol in hand. Jesus Christ, man. You good? I groan, pushing myself up. No. Mac reaches down, hauls me up. Come on, before more show up. I don't argue. Find my weapons, gather myself, and we limp off the broken bridge, leaving the wreckage behind. We don't stop until we're off the highway, ducking into the remains of a shattered strip mall. I lean against a wall, catching my breath. Every inch of me hurts. Mac exhales. Well, that sucked. Ace shakes his head. Fuck bridges, we're never doing that again. I cough, tasting blood. Yeah, agreed. Mac scans ahead. Coliseum is close, but we're not alone. A single shot rings out from the rooftop of an old Best Buy. A bullet ricochets off the pavement near my feet. Ace swears, diving for cover. Mac grabs his SIG MCX Rattler, scanning the rooftops. We've got company, and they're not infected. Chapter 25. We'd barely had time to breathe before the next shot rang out, sharp, echoing, the kind of sound that tells you someone knows exactly what the fuck they're aiming at. Rooftop, Best Buy, Mac barks, ducking behind an overturned sedan. Ace throws himself into cover next to me. Another shot, this one clips the hood of the car, sending up sparks. I risk a peek over the hood. The rooftop sniper has a decent vantage point, scanning the lot, picking shots. But they're not alone. Mac points across the parking lot. Movement. A group of 4, maybe 5 survivors, crouching behind wrecked vehicles, armed. Their posture isn't defensive. They're hunting. Ace spits. Not infected. Worse. I hate that he's right. Mac taps my shoulder. Play it loud or play it quiet? I weigh the options. We go loud, we risk drawing every rager in a 3-mile radius. We go quiet, we risk getting picked off one by one. Or we talk. I make the call. We talk. I yell out from behind the vehicle. We're just passing through. Don't want any trouble. Silence. Then a voice, rough, southern drawl. Ain't no such thing as just passing through anymore. The man who steps forward is built like a brick wall, arms scarred, tactical vest strapped over a worn hoodie. Leader type. His people fan out behind him. A mix of rough, hungry faces. Some armed with rifles, some with blades. We're not looking to pick a fight, I repeat, my voice calm. We're here for the survivors inside. The man tilts his head as if thinking, then grins. Oh, you mean our survivors? Mac tenses beside me. Ace mutters, well shit, that ain't good. Turns out, these assholes have been holed up in the Best Buy, waiting for people to show up looking for survivors, then they ambush and loot the unlucky bastards. I sigh. You let them go, we walk away. No blood, no bullets. The leader chuckles. Nah, I think we'll just take your shit instead. Blood and bullets galore, you fuckheads. Mac exhales, rolling his shoulders. Ace stretches his neck. I was really hoping to avoid a fight. But fuck it. Ace moves first. A single gunshot. The sniper on the roof jerks back, dropping their rifle. Ace is already pivoting before they even hit the ground. Mac fires next, hitting another in the ribs, shattering bone. The guy doesn't even get a chance to scream before crumpling to the pavement. The others react fast. Gunfire erupts, echoing across the empty streets. I duck, grab my SIG MCX rattler, and return fire. Short, controlled bursts. A guy with a fire axe charges me from the corner. I sidestep, bringing my rattler up under his chin. The impact lifts him off his feet. He crumples, twitching. Mac grabs one bastard by the vest and slams his forehead into their nose. Blood splatters. He doesn't stop swinging. Ace is a blur of movement. Glock in one hand, knife in the other. He plants 2 shots in the chest of an attacker before pivoting and driving his knife into another's throat. The fight is fast and brutal. The last standing asshole drops his gun. Hands up, shaking. He's young. Too young. I step forward, gun raised. Run. Or don't. Your call. The kid bolts. Smart. Mac wipes blood from his lip. You sure about letting him go? I shake my head. Nope. But he's just a kid. Figured I'd give him a chance. Ace reloads. Now what? I look up at the Coliseum entrance. We get what we came for. Chapter 26. The air inside the Coliseum Central is thick with mildew, sweat, and something vaguely floral. We move fast, cutting through the wrecked remains of storefronts, glass crunching underfoot. The ragers outside are still distant, but that won't last. They heard the commotion and will definitely find a way in. Mac sweeps ahead, rifle raised. Ace checks the corners, his pistol steady. I lead the way toward the salon the survivors are supposed to be in. Let's just hope they're still alive. Mac stops at a door marked Sheer Madness, full-service salon, the glass somehow still intact. We hear movement inside. I knock twice. You still breathing in there? Locks click. The door cracks open, and I start barking out orders. Okay, let's move. We got 5 minutes. All right, what the hell is this? Mac stares for a second, then barks out a laugh. The survivors inside? They're ridiculous. Some have huge, gravity-defying 80s-style hair, held together by more hairspray than should legally exist. One guy's mohawk stands so tall it looks like it could pick up radio signals. Another woman has a jerry curl so glossy and wet it's like a slip hazard just standing near her. A dude in the back, arms crossed, rocking a massive perm, nods like this is all completely normal. So, you guys have been busy, I say, waving vaguely at the fashion disaster in front of me. The woman in charge, mid-40s, piercing gaze, a full beehive stacked high enough to block an exit sign, clears her throat. Now just what the hell else are we supposed to do, honey child? Sit around and cry? Mac smiles. Well, you and your hairdos need to come on. We need to get the hell out of here. More like hair don'ts, Ace replies. The survivors grab their bags. We move. We step outside. The parking lot is no longer empty. The ragers heard the call and answered. Hundreds of twisting, snarling bodies spread across the lot, twitching, heads snapping toward us as the doors creak open. Ace swears. We doing this? I take a breath. All right, let's move. The first wave collides with us like a tidal wave of muscle and bone. Max swings first, his bat splitting a rager's skull wide open. Ace fires controlled shots, precise. I smash a rager's kneecap, send it crumpling before planting my boot into its skull. Blood sprays. Another lunges. I duck, drive my machete straight up through its jaw. The survivors scatter, screaming. Some fight. Some just run. I spin just in time to see Ace go down, dragged into the sea of bodies. Max sees it too, eyes wide with horror. Ace! We move, but it's too late. The horde swallows him. Mac is still rushing toward him. I grab his vest and yank him back. There's nothing we can do. Mac's breathing hard, teeth clenched. We can't, Mac. We have to move now. A bullet rips into Mac's shoulder. He stumbles, cursing. I barely catch him before he goes down. From across the lot, I see the kid I let go earlier, gun raised, still aiming. I don't think, I fire. One shot, right through the bastard's head. I haul Mac to his feet, dragging him toward the salon owner's truck. Blood soaked through his gear. Survivors pile in, yelling. The engine roars to life. The truck peels out, tires screeching as we barrel through the madness, bouncing over debris, Mac groaning in the back. We cut through side streets, weaving between wreckage, dodging roaming infected. We drive in slow circles, weaving in and out of all the wreckage and debris, backtracking to find a clear route out, ending up damn near back where we started. As I'm slowly looping around a dumpster back near the mall entrance, I hear a loud yell. I know that voice. I slam the brakes. Mac groans. The hell was that? We all stare at the dumpster. Another grunt and a thud from inside. Then the lid flies open, and out climbs Ace, covered in blood, garbage, and a pissed-off expression, and holding a Twinkie. He's mid-bite, chewing, while 5 more Twinkies are clutched in his other hand. He stares at us. We stare at him. Silence. Ace wipes a hand down his face, flicking off a chunk of cream-filled goodness. You assholes just left me? Mac starts laughing so hard he nearly passes out. Ace flips us off. Fuck all of you. I just shake my head grinning and drive us back to safety. Chapter 27. For the first time in a long while, I wake up without the weight of survival pressing down on my chest. No blood on my hands. No adrenaline still buzzing in my veins. No rager snarling just outside the walls. Just morning. I step out onto the small balcony of my quarters, a tin cup of hot tea steaming in my hands. The air is crisp, autumn at its finest, that perfect mix of cold and clean that makes every breath feel like it's scrubbing the inside of your lungs. The leaves, gold and fire red, swirl lazily across the open courtyard below, catching the morning light as they dance on unseen currents. Somewhere in the trees beyond the fence, birds are still singing. The tea is dark, strong, Earl Grey with bergamot, laced with honey and brewed over fresh ginger. I take a slow sip, letting the warmth settle in my chest and the taste linger on my tongue. It's the kind of moment that reminds me I'm still here, still human, still alive. It's easy to forget that sometimes. From here, I can see the outer perimeter of the Langley safe zone. Makeshift barricades, armed guards, survivors moving in tight clusters. The world isn't safe anymore. But in this little pocket of order, for at least a few minutes, it almost feels like it is. The sun rises slow, bleeding gold and violet into the sky. A soft breeze shifts through the trees, carrying the scent of damp earth, distant bonfires, and something like cinnamon. Someone must be cooking something warm. It reminds me of childhood autumns, fairgrounds, hay rides, and cider thick with spice. Then reality kicks back in, a knock at my door. Mr. Wolf, Eve needs you in the lab. I sigh, taking one last sip of tea before setting the cup down. Back to work. The lab is deep inside the base, past several locked corridors. It's cleaner than the rest of Langley, sterile, humming with equipment that still runs despite the world falling apart. Eve and Kai are waiting for me, along with a few other research staff members. Eve doesn't waste time. She's got that look, the one scientists get when they're on the edge of something big. She taps a holographic screen, bringing up a 3D model of what looked like fungal spores. We've been running every test we can, and we finally got a breakdown of what we're dealing with. She starts pacing. All right, we knew this infection wasn't bacterial or viral, it's fungal, but not just any fungus. This thing has been hibernating for millions of years. She zooms in on the model. The spore structure is ancient, primitive, but aggressive. We've identified 3 stages of infection. Stage 1, ragers. The spores first take hold in the bloodstream, triggering an extreme adrenaline response, aggression, loss of higher cognitive function. It's full-body rage. Kai jumps in. But here's the thing, the spores don't actually kill the host. They keep them alive as long as possible, using them as carriers. Eve swipes to a new image. Stage 2s, grotesque mutations, extra limbs, exposed bone fused with fungal growths. Once the host is no longer viable, the spores shift gears. The body enters a metamorphic state, restructuring itself to optimize survival. These things are faster, stronger, and, worst of all, they're aware. And the final stage? I ask quietly. Eve doesn't answer right away. Then she brings up the last image. A forest. Twisted. Pulsing. Trees fused with human remains. Fungal veins crawling up the bark like a circulatory system. Kai clears her throat. Stage 3 is not a creature anymore. It's an ecosystem. We think if we can get a living sample, something recent, something still in mutation, we can create a counteragent, a way to stop the progression before someone shifts to stage 2. I run a hand over my face. Of course. So, let me guess. You need me to go find one. Eve doesn't even hesitate. Yes. I exhale slowly. Of course you do. Mac and Ace walk in. Mac still bandaged up, but grinning like hell. Heard you going monster hunting. I shake my head. No, just grabbing a sample. Ace smirks. Whatever you say, man. Eve lays out a map. We tracked movement patterns. There's a high probability that stage 2s are nesting somewhere in the old shipyard near downtown. Mac whistles low. That's a death trap. I sip my tea. Cold now. Bitter. Yeah, it should be a great time. Eve looks at me, serious. If we do this right, we can save lives. We can stop this from spreading further. I nod, stretching my shoulders. Another mission. Another march into hell. Let's gear up. Part 3. Chapter 28. The reinforced armored bank truck rumbles down the cracked highway, headlights cutting through the heavy fog rolling in from the James River. The world is eerily silent, save for the occasional distant howl of the infected, a sound that never quite sits right in my bones. Inside the cab, though, it's a different world. Ace is slouched in the passenger seat, boots propped up on the dashboard like we're on some long-haul road trip instead of a suicide mission. Mac sits in the back, cleaning his rifle for the 100th time. The warm scent of gun oil and metal fills the space. All right, I say, shifting in my seat. Before we get there, let's lighten the mood. Stupidest thing you ever did as a kid, go. Mac snorts. Define stupid. Ace grins. I once jumped off a roof with a bedsheet thinking I could parachute. How'd that go for you? Mac raises an eyebrow. Ace shrugs. Couple broken ribs, but yeah, I consider it a success. I chuckle. All right. Mac, tell Ace about the time you got your ass kicked on your first date. Mac groans. Come on, man. Ace sits up, eyes gleaming. Oh, hell yes, I need this story. Mac sighs, rubbing his temples. Fine, but just know I was young, dumb, and had no idea how the world worked. I was 16, nervous as hell. First real date, first time meeting a girl's parents. Dad let me borrow the car, big deal, right? I wanted to make a good impression, be a gentleman. So what went wrong? Ace leans back. Mac shoots him a look. I was trying to be romantic. I'm driving to her house, and I see these flowers sitting on the side of the road, vase and all, just sitting there. I figure girls love flowers, right? So I pull over, grab them, drive up to the house, feeling like a damn prince. Ace is already laughing. "You stole someone's flowers, didn't you?" Mac groans. "Didn't know that at the time." Knock on the door, her dad opens up, takes one look at the flowers, and the next thing I know, this dude's got me in a headlock, throwing me off the damn porch. The mom comes running, screaming at him to stop. I think I'm saved, right? Nope. She sees the flowers and starts slapping the hell out of me too. Ace is shaking his head. Oh my fucking God. The daughter finally comes down, yelling for them to stop. I'm sitting there on the ground, bruised to hell, and I still have no idea what's going on. Turns out their other daughter had just died the month before. They'd been leaving flowers every Saturday at the site where she died. Ace turns around, grinning ear to ear. "You stole memorial flowers?" "How was I supposed to know?" Mac yells, throwing his hands up. "I had just met this girl. Nobody tells 16-year-old idiots that people leave flowers on the damn street for the dead." I shake my head, grinning. Needless to say, there was no second date. Ace is still laughing. "Damn, man, that might be both the funniest and most tragic shit I've ever heard." Mac mutters, "Glad my pain is amusing." The laughter fades as we pull up a block away from the shipyard. And just like that, the mood shifts. The world outside is different here. We kill the engine, gearing up quickly. Silenced pistols strapped to our thighs, SIG MCX rattlers slung over our shoulders, machetes sheathed, bats ready. Ace assembles a compact flamethrower, clicking the canister into place with a grin. The shipyard stretches out in front of us like a rusted corpse, skeletal cranes looming overhead, draped in flesh-like tendrils that sway in the night breeze. The air smells wrong here, like burnt metal and something organic. "This place is fucked," Ace mutters. We move in. The deeper we go, the worse it gets. The ground beneath our boots is a patchwork of rotting metal and soft, wet, organic matter. Not quite flesh, not quite fungus. A sickly damp heat clings to the air, making the oxygen feel thicker, heavier. Every breath tastes of salt, rust, and something sour. The docked submarines in the distance loom like the skeletal remains of prehistoric sea beasts, their hulls split open like cracked eggs. Inside, pulsing fungal filth writhes, creeping along the metal like veins spreading through a corpse. I swallow hard. This place was not meant for the living anymore. At least, not our kind of living. Steel containers line the shipyard, twisted apart as if torn open by something that had no business being that strong. The warped metal is fused with human remains, twisted in impossible ways, their bones intertwined with rusted walls like their bodies have been melted into the structure itself. Some still have faces, or what's left of them. Ace pauses beside one. "Fuck, man." He stares at the remnants of what used to be a man, a torso embedded in a cargo door, his ribs peeled outward like something had burst from inside. Mac nudges me, voice low. "This is bad, B." Then, click, click, click. The sound bounces between the rusted ships, making it impossible to pinpoint. Click, click, click. A slow, calculated movement, as if something is walking on the other side of the shipyard. Mac gestures for us to move. Slow, controlled. We weave between the rusted wreckage, every step precise, boots rolling heel to toe to avoid unnecessary noise. The air is thick. "What the fuck is that?" Ace whispers. We stop, listening for any sound. The black water swirls off the edge of the dock, not from the wind or tide. Something massive moves beneath the surface, shifting the dark liquid in slow waves, ripples spreading outward in a perfect, steady rhythm. A thick, long shape rises to the surface, tentacle-shaped. It moves like it knows we're watching. undulating up and down like a pulse, like it wants us to see. The light from Mac's scope glances off its surface, revealing a deep, dark, charcoal black, slimy textured mass. As it shifts, I see faint, swirling patterns across its surface, patterns that look eerily like veins. It lingers for a moment, then gurgles back under the surface. The water returns to stillness. The silence that follows is even heavier than before. We don't move. No one speaks. Mac is the first to exhale. Nope. Never going near the water again. We keep moving, keeping a respectful distance from the edge of the water. Reaching a half-sunken aircraft carrier, its rusted hull looms like a grave marker in the fog. The ship is tilted slightly, its lower decks submerged in black water, while the upper levels are still barely intact. Ace eyes the gaping entrance. That's where we're going? Max slaps a fresh magazine into his rifle. Ship by ship until we find what we're after. I take point, one step inside. The air changes immediately, heavier, thicker. The temperature drops, and suddenly, every sound outside feels 1,000,000 miles away. The others follow, weapons up. The second we're all inside, a door slams shut somewhere ahead of us. The sound is deafening, a massive clang of metal meeting metal, vibrating through the floor beneath us. This ain't good. Chapter 29. The darkness is absolute. The scent, a rancid blend of seawater, rot, and something deeper. Something that sinks into your lungs and festers. The walls, if you can call them that, pulse. Not like a machine, not mechanical. Organic and sick. Every few feet, veins of something fleshy weave into the metal, bulging, twisting, throbbing with some unseen force. Some patches of steel have entire ribs embedded in them, stretching outward like a grotesque sculpture of pain. Somewhere in the distance, a clicking sound. Ace glances at me. That's the same sound we heard outside, isn't it? I nod as we push deeper into the darkness. From below us, a sound. At first, it's just a murmur, a strange, low, unnatural vibration that makes my skull feel tight, heavy. As we descend toward the lower decks, the sound grows clearer, a humming. It isn't singing or talking. It's low and drawn out. A sickening, warped melody, like a lullaby being sung through water. We slow as we approach a half-open doorway, red emergency lights casting the space beyond in a dim, flickering glow. The engine room. And inside, dozens of ragers. They stand in a perfect circle, twitching, heads tilted downward, their shoulders rising and falling in sync with their sick, vibrating hum. They seem to have fungus and what appears to be twisted mushrooms growing off of them. Their bodies twitch violently at the same exact moment in the tune, a sharp, jerking motion that runs through all of them like a ripple. They're humming. The air in here presses in on us, thick and heavy, making my stomach turn. The closer we get, the worse it gets. A deep, nauseous wave crawls through my gut. My vision blurs at the edges. Ace grips the doorframe, pale. I feel like I'm gonna fucking pass out. The sensation is instant, smothering. It builds in waves, rolling through my body, making me feel like I'm sinking into the floor, like my head is detaching from my spine. We back away, slowly. The further we move from the sound, the more the feeling eases. My stomach settles, my balance returns. We stop at a safe distance. For a long moment, no one speaks. Ace breathes deep. I swear to God, that was the creepiest shit I've ever seen. A deep groan echoes through the ship, reverberating through the walls like the whole structure is breathing. followed by the sound of metal wrenching apart. The floor beneath us shifts, tilts. "Move!" Mac shouts. A sudden rush of water floods the corridor behind us, surging forward like a living thing, hungry and fast. We sprint, boots slamming against the unstable metal. The hallway buckles, sending us stumbling. Ahead, a ladder. Ace reaches it first, practically throwing himself upward. Mac follows, and I'm right behind them, climbing for my life as the flood surges closer. As soon as we hit the top and onto the deck, the ship below disappears into total darkness. The groaning of metal fading into a low, eerie creak. I sit back, staring down at the void of water below us. Something big was in there. I didn't see it, but I felt it. We push on. Whatever's waiting for us ahead, it has to be better than what's behind. Chapter 30. A submarine looms ahead, its hull split wide open like a gaping wound. Ace runs a gloved hand along the torn edge of the hull. "This feels like a really bad idea." Mac mutters, "Most of our ideas are bad. We do them anyway." We step inside. The first thing that hits us isn't the smell, it's the sound. A wet, pulsating rhythm, like the whole submarine is alive and squelching. Pulsing, shifting, veins of fungal growth web through the metal, twitching in reaction to our presence. The floor is soft, almost organic, with a thin layer of slick, yellowish film. The deeper we go, the worse it gets. Bodies are fused into the walls, mouths stretched wide in frozen, silent screams of pain. Eyes glassy, but moving, watching like silent sentinels from hell. The lights above flicker, bathing the space in a sick, unnatural glow. Every few seconds, the entire sub feels like it shudders, exhaling. We press forward, moving slow, checking every corner. Ahead, something twitches. A figure. Not quite human. A stage 2, mid-mutation. Its skin stretched taut over exposed muscle. Mouth wider than it should be, filled with rows of jagged, irregular teeth. It's still growing. Twitching, jerking in slow, unnatural spasms, bones snapping and reforming slowly. Ace grips the flamethrower. "That one's perfect. Grab the sample." As if hearing him, one of the bodies in the wall turns its head, a slow, creaking motion. Its lips pull back. A grin stretches across its face. The whole nest stirs, a slow ripple moving through the bodies. The walls rupture as a stage 2 bursts around a corner. Mac meets it head on, bat cracking against its skull, black blood splattering across the walls. It barely stumbles. Ace ignites the flamethrower. The roar of fire erupts, sending shadows twisting wildly across the pulsating walls. The infected shriek, writhing, their bodies curling into impossible shapes as the flames consume them. I fire, 3 rounds to the chest. Another drops. The infection fights back. The floor shifts beneath us, twisting. Vine-like tendrils snap through the walls, whipping toward us, sharp as razors. One wraps around Mac's leg, yanking him off his feet. I swing my machete hard, severing it. The tendrils recoil, shrieking. Ace touches everything in sight. We grab our sample, a sealed container of infected tissue, and push for the exit. The sub begins to shake violently. Walls bulge outward, like something massive is about to be birthed from inside. We scramble up the sloped interior, slipping on thick, wet growths. The stage 2s howl, voices inhuman and stretched, echoing like a dying animal's last breath. As we burst onto the deck, Ace looks back just in time to see the entire sub collapse inward on itself. An ear-splitting shriek tears through the shipyard from across the docks as the others begin to stir. Chapter 31. The shipyard sprawls around us in a labyrinth of rusting containers and abandoned cranes looming against the ink-black sky. The distant groan of shifting metal echoes like a dying beast, swallowed by the steady whisper of the tide. Mac moves ahead, keeping low between the stacks of shipping containers. Ace follows behind, the flamethrower slung across his back. I bring up the rear, rifle raised, scanning the endless maze of wreckage. The ground is slick beneath our boots, stained black from whatever the infection has bled into the soil. "Contact left!" Mac shouts, firing a burst into the shadows. A cluster of ragers explode from the darkness, howling as they rush forward, bodies convulsing with erratic spasms covered in fungal growth. Mac fires again, but the muzzle flash is blinding in the dark. I take a knee, aiming precise shots into the mass of them, heads snapping back as rounds tear through skulls. As one drops, 10 more take their place. Mac pivots right, stepping into an open container for cover, and slips through a wet, gaping hole in the floor just as the doors slam shut behind him. I lunge for the handle, but something heavy crashes against the metal from inside. A distorted screech rips through the air, followed by the unmistakable sound of boots scrambling backward. "Mac!" I slam my fist against the metal. "Talk to me!" A shot fires inside the container, Mac yelling back. Ace grabs my arm. "We have to move. There's too many." The horde is swarming. We fall back into the shipyard, but we aren't running away. We're Mac hunting, and business is booming. We weave between the wreckage, using rusted stairwells and cargo ramps to gain higher ground. We need to find a way under the deck, to the level Mac's on. We hear something in the distance. Ace stiffens beside me, pointing toward the far end of the shipyard. At first, it doesn't move. A hulking shape. Its body is way too long, stretched in unnatural proportions, the limbs pulling it forward with spidery, slithering motions. The arms, if they even are arms, bend in ways they shouldn't, some ending in hands, others in feet, as if it doesn't understand how human anatomy works. It moves slow, watching us. Its head hangs at an angle as if it's melting, the flesh dripping down the side of its body like wax. It tilts its head upright, a grotesque crackle of wet bone shifting. Ace grips my arm. "What the actual fuck is that?" We don't wait to find out. We move. We hear the struggle before we see it. Deep within a flooded tunnel beneath the shipyard, Mac is fighting for his life. Ace rushes in first, his machete splitting the skull of one rager right down the middle, sending black blood and brain matter splattering across the walls. The second turns, its face locked in a contorted grin. But I fire 2 quick shots, sending it crumpling beside Mac. The third rager doesn't stop. It grabs Mac's head and vomits directly into his mouth. A thick black liquid gushes from its mouth, cascading directly into Mac's face and mouth. His body twitches violently as he wrenches free and hacks off the rager's head in one swift swing. He stumbles back, coughing, spitting the vile sludge from his mouth. His eyes widen in horror as the realization sinks in. He's infected. Ace kneels beside him, grabbing his shoulders. "Breathe, man, breathe." Mac grips his vest, panic flashing through his features, but there's no time to react. More infected are coming. The shadows behind us churn with movement, dozens of them. We run, hard, fast. Everything turns into a blur of violence and motion. The infected hurl themselves at us, their speed unnerving, their attacks wild and violent. I drive my machete into the throat of one, twisting as it gurgles. Ace swings wide, breaking bones with every impact. Mac, despite everything, fights like a man with nothing to lose. Blood splashes. Bodies fall. The tunnel begins to collapse behind us. Water pours in, swallowing everything in a churning black void. We barely make it out alive. Chapter 32. The shipyard is behind us, but we are far from safe. Every inch of my body aches. Mac's breathing is labored, the infection coursing through his system. The armored truck is in sight. Our salvation. Then everything goes to shit. Again. Hundreds of ragers flood the streets, screaming, snarling, tearing toward us with unrelenting fury. A large chunk in between us and the truck. "Move, now!" I yell, pointing at the nearest building. We bolt inside, slamming the door behind us. A 4-story office building, half collapsed, reeking of mildew and death. No time to think. We hit the stairs, taking them 3 and 4 at a time. By the time we reach the top, our lungs are burning. The stairwell doors burst open and we stumble onto the roof. I slam it shut and throw the bolt. Ace grabs a 2x4 and wedges it tight. We barricade the door with whatever we can find. Pipes, planks, broken chairs. Mac drops to his knees, pale, shaking. Ace is already pulling out the antidote, snapping the cap off the syringe. "Hold still, man." Ace jabs it into his arm, pressing the plunger. Mac grits his teeth, sweat pouring down his face. I grab a bottle of saline from Ace's pack and pour it over his mouth, flushing out any remnants of the black bile. He gags, spits, shudders. "Swish, Mac, swish it around," I insist. He does, spitting out remnants of black sludge. A penicillin shot follows. Ace slaps his cheek lightly. "Stay with us, Mac. You hear me?" Mac nods weakly. I see the fear in his eyes as we hear the horde burst into the building below us. The sound is a tidal wave of chaos. Hundreds of feet pounding up the stairwell, slamming into walls, shrieking, clawing. The barricade won't hold long, if at all. We have seconds. I rush to the edge of the roof, scanning for anything. A fire escape, another rooftop, any possible way down. Nothing. Just a long drop and death waiting below. The rooftop is scattered with debris. My eyes land on some coiled wire, old 2x4s, broken piping. It's not much, but it's something. I grab a length of wire and tie it to a thick metal vent pipe. "Help me, now." Ace and Mac, still weak, stumble over. We fashion the ugliest, deadliest makeshift rope ladder known to man. Wire tied to pipe, tied to wire, tied to more wire, tied to 2x4s, then rinse and repeat. I wedge the final 2x4 between 2 rooftop AC units for leverage, double-checking the knots. A deafening crash echoes behind us. The stairwell door buckles, splinters. I test the wire, tugging hard. It holds. "Go, now!" Ace descends first, arms wrapped tight around the improvised rope, feet finding shaky holds when he reaches the 2x4 and pipe as he lowers himself down. Mac hesitates, still shaking. Move, goddammit!" I shove him toward the edge. He grips the rope, breathing hard, then starts climbing. The door behind us explodes open. I turn just in time to see the first rager burst onto the rooftop, mouth wide, black veins pulsing beneath its skin. I fire 2 rounds, hitting it square in the face. It drops. More follow. I vault over the edge, gripping the rope as screams echo above me. Ace and Mac hit the ground running. I'm not far behind. We sprint for the truck. The horde surges behind us. Drive, now!" I shout, as Ace throws open the armored truck's doors and slides into the driver's seat. Mac collapses into the back. I barely make it inside as the vehicle roars to life. The ragers are everywhere, clawing at the metal, smashing at the sides. Ace throws the flamethrower over his shoulder, aims out the open window, and unleashes hell. Behind us, I see the ragers jumping off the top of the building and splattering on the pavement below. So enraged, they don't even seem to know what they're doing. The road behind us erupts in fire. Screams fill the night as flames consume the infected, the blaze stretching across the pavement like a burning scar. The truck barrels through what remains, sending bodies tumbling beneath its tires. Then, out in the distance, something moves. It's massive. It moves on all 4s, limbs as thick as telephone poles. Its head lolls to the side, stretching like bubblegum pulled too far, like an evolved version of the beast from the shipyard. No one speaks. No one breathes. Ace grips the wheel. I am not stopping. We don't. We keep driving. After what feels like an eternity, Langley looms ahead, gates wide open. The moment we roll through, the steel door slams shut behind us. Safety. Eve and Kai are waiting. They see Mac, barely conscious in the back, and rush forward. We have the sample, I say, my voice rough. But Mac. Eve doesn't wait. She calls for medics, and they haul Mac toward the sickbay. He barely makes it into the emergency table before his body convulses violently. Kai grips my arm, eyes wide. Is he? I don't answer. Mac gasps, eyes rolling back. His body shakes once, twice, then goes still. Ace and I stand there, watching as Eve and her team fight to keep him alive. The doors swing shut behind them. Silence. I don't know if we just saved him, or if we were already too late. Chapter 33. The morning after our return, the base is buzzing. People move with a nervous urgency, voices hushed but frantic. We have the sample, but Mac is still recovering. The infection is worse than we thought. Much worse. Eve and Kai work in the lab, poring over the data, running tests, cross-referencing notes. Every so often, one of them swears under their breath, frustration mounting. Ace and I stand just outside the lab, watching through the glass. They've been at it all night, Ace mutters, rubbing at his tired eyes. I nod, my body sore from our escape. We don't have time to rest. Eve finally steps out, pulling off her gloves with a tight, exhausted expression. We need to talk. In the briefing room, the air is thick with unspoken tension. Eve places a microscope slide onto the projector, and a grotesque, shifting image of the infected tissue appears on screen. The mutation is still spreading, still changing. Kai speaks first, voice measured but heavy with concern. The second stage isn't just a transformation. It's a process, an escalation. We thought we had more time. We were wrong. Eve pulls up another slide, revealing a twisting, vein-like spore structure. This is bad. She leans against the table, sighing. The mutation isn't stopping at stage 2 anymore. We're already seeing evidence of the final stage. The room falls silent. I exhale slowly, already knowing what's coming next. There's no stopping it. Not yet. The only question now is, do we stay or do we run? The room erupts. We should fortify this place, someone shouts. We have supplies, walls, weapons. Langley won't hold, another voice counters. There's thousands of them showing up at our gates every day. This is a death trap. What about Fort Eustis? Big enough, already structured for military defense. What about Williamsburg? Hell, what about Plymouth Rock? We could rebuild where it all started. Busch Gardens, one yells. Hell, if we're all gonna die, we might as well have fun doing it. The arguments fly across the room, voices rising, splitting into factions. Some want to stay. Some want to move. Some just want a damn decision. Then Kai speaks. Fort Monroe. The room goes still. I blink, then nod slowly. Of course. It's an island. 2 bridges in, both converge and meet at the same point. We can control it, even destroy it if needed. We can set up a floating ramp for when we need access. We have the entire bay at our backs for safety, for resources, for escape if we ever need it. The room erupts again, but this time with agreement. People nod, murmur. It makes sense. Eve crosses her arms. If we do this, we have to do it soon, before the final stage reaches us here. The vote is called, and it's unanimous. After the meeting, for the first time in days, I shower. The hot water burns, but I welcome it. The steam washes away the blood, the filth, the exhaustion. When I step out, I feel human again. Ace knocks on my door. Mac wants to see us. I grab a fresh shirt and follow him. Mac's in medical bay, looking better than expected. His color is back, his breathing steady. He grins when he sees us. Y'all look like shit. Ace laughs, dragging a chair over. Yeah, well, some of us didn't get to nap in a sick bay. Mac chuckles, wincing as he shifts. I heard we're moving. I nod. Fort Monroe, it's the best option. Mac's grin widens. Hell yeah. If we're gonna survive the apocalypse, might as well do it somewhere with beaches. Before we can respond, Eve steps in, arms crossed. There's someone here to see you, she says, glancing between us. A couple of kids came in 2 days ago. One's got a katana, the other's been messing around with a pair of nunchucks. Ace scoffs. You're kidding. Eve shakes her head. Nope. They wanted to apologize, and to thank you. I lean back, folding my arms. The kids from the ambush. They must have taken our advice and made it to Langley in one piece. Mac, still lying in the bed, shifts slightly, his eyes locking onto the mention of the katana. His lips curl into a slow, wicked grin. I'm getting that damn sword. Chapter 34. Langley Safe Zone, 0700 hours, September 12th. The tension in the air is thick enough to choke on. The room is packed. Soldiers, survivors, engineers, medics, and strategists, all gathered around a massive blackboard, scrawled in bold, deliberate handwriting. The battle for Fort Monroe. The general steps forward, a scarred veteran of too many wars, his voice like gravel and steel. All right, listen up, because I'm only saying this once. We fought to survive. We've scraped, bled, and lost too damn much. But survival isn't enough. Not anymore. If we want to live, to rebuild, we need a stronghold. We need Fort Monroe, and we're taking it back. The room is silent, hanging onto every word. He points to the blackboard. Phase 1, the attack. Objective, exterminate every last infected piece of shit on the island. Tactics, 3 squads, sweeping in coordinated waves. Suppressed weapons where possible, but we go loud when we have to. Controlled explosives to clear bottlenecks. Flamethrowers to eradicate fungal growth. No half measures, no hesitation. This is a kill mission. Threats. We don't know what's in there. Expect stage 2s. Expect worse. We adapt, improvise, and hit harder. He slams a knife into the map pinned to the board. Phase 2, the bridges. We cut off the mainland. Once we secure the fort, we bring the bridges down. Not just disable it, obliterate it. We mine the structure, rig it with controlled detonations, and drop it straight into the water. No crossing. No reinforcements. If they want to reach us, they better learn to fucking swim. Burn the dead. Every corpse, every trace of fungus, every possible spore host. Incinerated. We don't risk contamination inside the walls. If it's infected, it burns. Period. His gaze sweeps the room, steel and fire in his eyes. Phase 3, rebuild and expand. We don't just survive, we rebuild. We establish defenses, fortified gates, watchtowers, reinforced walls. We restore essential systems, water filtration, power, agriculture. If we're going to hold this place, we need to make it self-sustaining. We establish the inner moat fortifications for a last resort if we should need to. And most importantly, we send out messages, signs, radio broadcasts, anything we can manage. We let the world know Fort Monroe is a safe zone. If you're still breathing, this is where you need to be. He pauses, letting the weight of his words settle over the crowd. No one speaks. No one moves. Then he exhales, slow and steady. We take this fort. We take back control. No more running, no more hiding. We hit first, and we hit hard. He steps back. Questions. The silence lasts a beat, then Ace grins. Yeah. When do we start? Chapter 35. The sky's turning gold and blood red over Langley. The kind of sunrise that makes you stop, just for a second, and remember what the world used to be, what it could be again. I sip my tea, letting the steam curl into the crisp autumn air. The wind carries the scent of salt from the bay, damp earth, fallen leaves, smells of a world that refuses to die, no matter how much hell we've walked through. For the first time in a long time, I let myself believe. We have a plan. That's more than we've had since this nightmare started. A real, tangible direction. Fort Monroe. A place to fight for. A place to build something again. I think about the people we've lost. Margaret, the old woman who made me cookies. The people we couldn't save. Ace's close call. Mac nearly dying on that table. The mistakes. The choices that got us here. And then I think about Kai and Eve in the lab, working towards something bigger than just survival. Mac, alive and grinning, ready for war. Ace, still standing, still cracking jokes, even after everything we've seen. We're still here. I press record on my handheld, a message to whoever should find it. This is Brian Wolf, logging what might be my last entry before we start a new chapter. I glance at the makeshift warboard, the scrawled-out words, the battle for Fort Monroe, staring back at me. We've been through hell. We've bled. We've fought. We've watched people we love get ripped away from us. And yet we're still here. We're still fighting. I sip my tea, staring out over the horizon, letting the weight of it all settle in my chest. There's no going back to what was. That world is gone. But that doesn't mean we stop. Doesn't mean we give up. It means we build something new. We find a way forward. The wind shifts, colder now. But it doesn't feel like death anymore. It feels like change. Now we've got a plan. We've got a future. We've got hope. I take one last sip, set the cup down, and stand up, scanning the horizon. It's time to go to war. This has been Sporefall, written by B. Humphrey, narrated by Kai Lanner. Copyright 2024-2025 by B. Humphrey. Production copyright by B. Humphrey.